Manever I say ma PENDREAM TV. PENDREAM TV there, osia dem yopo.
You are once again welcome to PENDREAM TV, the only channel that brings you the best and latest updates in politics. If you are new here, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell for more updates, like and also share to other members to watch as well. You can also leave a comment after watching or send us your voice note on our WhatsApp number, which is 0277-128-777. Thank you.
And because you made mention of that, there are also some interesting developments. Recently, the NIB has got a parliamentary candidate from the MPP being made the board chair. The most recent one, your counterpart on the MPP end, Stephen Ayesu Ntim, to be board chair of the National Petroleum Authority, maybe MPP, NPA. What do you make of that? I mean, if you were...
Oh, but that is not the first time.
If such an offer were made to you, would it be problematic?
No. As a board chair of anything, there are processes you go through.
Right.
If you go through all those processes, why? And you have the knowledge.
Right.
You can do it. There's no problem. I don't have any problem with Stephen Ntim's
if an
appointment.
NDC, administration, if you came to power and as chairman of your party, you were given the opportunity of being board chair to one of these state institutions, you would take it up.
If there is something that prevents me from being the chair, unless I will be cited for conflict of interest, I won't take it. But if all the boxes are ticked and I'm invited to contribute my knowledge or expertise to help run a state enterprise, why not? Because I have always been saying that something that is missing in our governance and in our campaign and promises is that our manifestos scarcely focus on corporate governance. Everybody will be talking about one free this, one free that, one free this, one free that. But the key factor to our success is proper corporate governance. Because it is there that economic development is generated. You understand? So even we must have an eye on public corporate governance and even private corporate governance, because if the private institutions in the country are being run properly and profitably, and the public ones are also being run properly and profitably, then the economy will grow. But if it's like you look at ministerial appointments and put your best products there, and then you say that, this one you were campaign. So it also boils down campaign manager here. So even our constitution. Yes, campaign manager here. So you go and be this board chairman. You go. So the board positions or corporate state corporate positions are given to foot soldiers. And they mess up, and the government cannot make progress.
I get your point.
The best material should be sent there to go and generate the wealth.
Right. Two quick issues I want us to deal with before we wrap. One has to do with the KPMG report. Have you seen it yet? The other one would have to do with the special prosecutor.
Who else has seen it apart from government?
Amidu.
Nobody has seen it.
No, but the president, it's been released.
The president, maybe before I entered here, because this morning it was...
The president directed that.
It was a condition that Dr. Atuforsen gave when there was a meeting between the president and the leadership of parliament. The president was trying to get their concurrence
on a number of issues.
And the approval of this agreement.
So this was part of what the NDC said.
So we said that look. We suspected there was something wrong, and then you put KPMG there to verify. The report is in. You don't want us to see it, and yet you want us to proceed to go and approve something. So publish it for every Ghanaian to know, so that we will see that what you are presenting to Parliament actually contains the corrective actions.
Okay, so this was
that will help you
approve. Pro quo. Yes. Give us this, and we'll also support you. So that was a request
in the interest of the state, yes.
And that is why
I believe that is why the president has done what he did.
I see. Some also say it has been released at this time to water down the effect of the Senate by the Champon saga. You don't believe that?
Well, if the president invited the leadership to water down this one, I wouldn't know. But I know it was a demand that civil society were making, and we were also making.
Are you happy now? Now that it's been released?
We are now going to read the report to know what is contained in there and to be able to decide whether we are comfortable approving anything or not.
I'll tell you for a fact that some people have already dug into it. We already have started taking a look at it. People like...
I can answer questions on something I have...
Right. Bright Simmons, for example, in a post says, in the midst of a tense debate about the propriety of a cabinet minister buying majority state-owned hotels, the famous KPMG report on SML is finally released. As suspected, Ghana's president's earlier summary had major gaps. SML received 1.5 billion, not 1 billion. It goes on and on and on. But now that it has been released, at least you can salute the president for letting go of it and putting it in the public space.
His back was on the wall. He wanted
was against the wall.
Against the wall. He wanted something done, and we said, do this before we do that.
So you're
and
basically telling Ghanaians that
if
it hadn't been for the president conferring with Dr. Kasilato Forsen and the minority side, I think I saw Abuja there as well, that without your pushing for that, we wouldn't have had this report. Is that what you're saying?
I'm very sure that we wouldn't have had the report. But because the president wants action to be taken on something, and we say that this is a condition, let us know what is in there before we will be able to make up our minds whether what you want us approved is proper. That is it. And that was the same position our MPs adopted on this $150 million loan. There was an earlier $200 million loan that we believe had not gone to do what it was supposed, it was meant for. Right. And that was the first phase. Right. So they brought a second phase of 150 million. And our MPs were saying that, let us know what you use the $200 million phase one for. Right. If we are satisfied, we will approve this.
I get that.
It never got it never got done, and that was why our people opposed the loan to the very end.
I see. I'd like us to briefly delve into the bit about the special prosecutor, Kissi and someone who was an attorney general and former president Atta Mills, may his soul rest in peace, Martin Amidu. Were you surprised when you found out that that petition was coming from Martin Amidu? Some have said sour grapes, others have said, oh, he is right, and now the process continues. What is your take on that? Are we fighting corruption?
No, we are not fighting corruption. I was extremely surprised, to be honest with you. Because Martin Amidu, I know, until this thing was done, I trusted that he was a very principled person.
Until this, you trusted that Martin Amidu was principled?
Yes, I was principled.
Which means now you don't?
My faith in his being principled is badly shaken. You see, you were appointed to occupy a certain office. At that time, I made a public comment that Comrade Martin, I know, will eventually end up resigning. Because I know this government too. And I know that they don't intend to fight corruption. They are not serious about fighting corruption. But they want to create a facade that they are fighting corruption. So they want some stooges who will be dancing to their tune and be creating the impression outside that they are fighting corruption. And Martin will not accept that. So when it comes to a point where he feels very strongly about a certain move and he's being impeded, he will resign. I said this several months before he resigned, the very time he was appointed. And I pointed to the flaws of the law, that the law itself is problematic. So nobody who fits into that position will be able to do its work unless there is serious political commitment towards fighting corruption, which I know MPP government lacks. So if they don't have that serious political commitment, they have a lot of ways to cripple the person so he cannot function. Because Martin Amidu had established some reputation as vigilante, one-man vigilante, citizen, and all that. But I made an analogy at that time that, look, you can put the best pilot in a taxi. He cannot fly the taxi. He may be the best pilot, but because the vehicle itself is not meant to fly, if you put him in there, he can only drive. He can't fly.
Is that where Kissi Ajabin?
That was, yes, between Kissi Ajabin and Martin Amidu, they all suffered the same thing. But my problem with Comrade Martin is what pushed him to now believe that the solution to this, our corruption problem, is for him to write to the person you have described as the mother serpent of corruption to take action in this matter.
What do you think?
That is where what has shaken my confidence in him.
Do you think something has happened that
He shouldn't
have not seen?
He shouldn't have done that at all. I'm still trying to understand why, Comrade Martin, have you abandoned your view that Nana Akufo-Addo is the master serpent of corruption? Or you still hold that view? If you still hold that view, and you, when you were being, you were confronted with you came to a roadblock that I want to do this thing against finance minister, and the president says no way, and you resigned and came and opened up. If your successor has come to a similar roadblock, and the president is demanding his resignation, won't you show solidarity? And you are rather making yourself the tool for the president to be able to achieve his objective of fighting those who are fighting corruption.
The CJ is interacting with Kissi Ajabin on the matter to determine whether there's a prima facie case. But would you call this a witch hunt?
The whole thing is a charade.
It's a charade.
Completely.
All right.
The one involving Martin, Kissi Ajabin, and Cecilia Dapa and the presidency and so on. The whole thing is a charade. And I cannot take any position either in support of Kissi Ajabin or in support of Martin Amidu or President Akufo-Addo or Cecilia Dapa until the storm settles and we go to pick the pieces. We will know who has done wrong to this country.
All right. My final bit to you would be...
And it's about to settle in December.
The NDC, what we can expect, the way forward. But before that, just to chip in, Hoops Nadoye, you know him.
Yes, I do.
Accosted for claiming that in 2016 there was some dynamite explosion or blasting in the Volta region, and that the MPP was behind it. What is your take on that? He's been arrested now. He's in custody. After that, then we just get to what we can expect from the NDC.
He's talking to you about what he has been involved in. And indeed, we can confirm that there were those blasts. You know, it's not inside, it was not inside the Ghana side of Volta region. You know, there's always this confusion about registration of people, Ghanaians living in Togoland, and people calling them Togolese and all that.
Right.
So there are a lot of Ghanaians who live in Togo. And in fact, that is why when President Kufuor was talking about this ROPA, Togo was the first country he visited. Right. Togo was the first country the Committee of Parliament visited because of the huge numbers of Ghanaians there. Right. And so I can't understand why, if a government wants to empower its citizens outside to vote, and they can go as far as to London to call people to buy plane tickets and come, and they will not allow Ghanaians living across the border to come and vote. So it is true, during the 2016 elections, there were, certain blasts along the border inside Togo. And because of that, all the Ghanaians there who had registered.
Question is, do you feel the MPP was behind that?
But the person who was responsible, as the MPP agent, has come to talk about it. So why are you arresting him?
So you believe Hobson?
Yes, I do believe him.
All right. What can we
I
expect
believe
from
him.
the
And
NDC?
I not about that one alone. Apart from that one, there were markets that got bent. And there was a serious suspicion that there were some agents who have been sent to bend those markets.
Well, suspicion is not fact.
You understand? So, and this one was a suspicion until it has been, until now we are getting to know how it happened.
What can we expect
so maybe we will expect another one about who bent.
Thank you for staying tuned. PENDREAM TV really appreciate your time. Please, if you have not yet subscribed, please do so for us. Hit the notification bell so that you'll be the first to receive any update that will be loaded onto the platform. Thank you.
Dedi kama mamena PENDREAM TV ase. Na so far so good. Say open online portal e wo Ghana. Ah nipa share, nipa follow, nipa comment here. To my best of knowledge, without any biases, PENDREAM TV.